inviting me to your community meeting. I wanted to talk about a recent procurement that ESA's made into the science of climate tipping elements. And it's supporting 6 new projects that will run. They've only just started over the last few weeks, and they'll be running to 2028. So yeah, the details of the projects, if you want further information, is on the climate.esa.in website. They're not all there quite yet, but there you should find the contact details for the projects for further information. So I'm going to just give you a really quick overview of what's been funded. So the reason for ESA's interest in this was because, if you're not already aware, the ESA funds the Climate Change Initiative, which is a program that's been running for about 10 years now, which is responding to the UNFCCC requirement for characterising climate change. And GCOS has defined a number of essential climate variables, of which about 2/3 can be derived from space data. And you might already be aware of some of ESA's projects that are leveraging these data in a sort of multi-variable way, such as the RECAP2 project and the IMBI project, which are sort of community intercomparison type efforts. And so the interest in tipping elements is kind of along this route. What should we do with these data to address tipping points? And is there more development of the satellite records needed? And what should that be? It's not going on. Oh, it's just a mouse click, is it? Okay. There we go. So there was a consultation of the community with 2 ISI meetings. I'm just highlighting that some of the papers are out from that now. There were 3 white papers that came from the second meeting, and that was used for the ESA's invitation to tender for the latest projects that were selected. So the first project is cryotipping. This is addressing the MISI aspect in West Antarctica. So it will be looking at Thwaites Glacier, which has been undergoing a lot of changes. Many of the cryosphere scientists in the room are aware. And the questions they're asking are, is the current pace higher than modelled over the past 20,000 years? And under what climatic conditions would irreversible retreat be triggered? So it's taking a sort of multivariable approach, looking at elevation change from space, ice velocity, and determining grounding line migration locations. And in terms of the modelling link, they'll be using PISM and detecting tipping points through numerical simulations that are initialized with the Earth observation data. That's the UA model. So yeah, if you want any more information about that, please ask, and I'll put you in touch with the technical officer for that. The second project is TIPSU, so that's concerning Southern Ocean overturning. It's looking at the upper and lower cell and trying to look at fingerprints for the changes that could imply tipping. So there's various satellite observables that they're going to be investigating. I think the main one will be sea level changes, but there are also other variables like sea surface temperature and salinity that they'll be investigating, and they'll be combining the satellite data with models. The NEMO model here they identify. So yeah, it's quite an exploratory one, this one, but if you're interested, then yeah, please contact me for more information. Predict, so there's people in the room that are involved in this project. Peter Cox, I can't actually see him right now. And also Tim Lenton, who's maybe online. Hi, Peter. So this is a large project, and it's concerning predicting resilience and early detection of climate transitions, leveraging the Earth observations. So looking in detail at what we can do with space for time substitution. This has been trailed for quite a few years already in the literature, so this is actually finally doing something. the focus is on abrupt permafrost melt, forest dieback, and greening in the Sahara, and looking at developing early warning signals for these systems, and combining sensor streams again. And they're also going to be testing against CMIP model outputs. So there might be some quite good synergies with some of the efforts going on here. I was just particularly thinking of like tools to analyze the CMIP outputs maybe could be quite useful. I think Subin and Aiko might be interesting on that. Anyway, so the outcomes will be a prototype biosphere resilient sensing system and a roadmap for future research directions, including other things. But yeah, moving on. Cyrene is another large project, and again, there's some people in the room involved in this. Sebastian, wherever he is. Not all of this slide has come out, unfortunately, and sorry, the color is really terrible. So this is looking really at the vegetation remote sensing data and determining, evaluating basically which metrics and which kind of processing of those metrics works best, and looking at temperate forest, boreal forest, dry lands, and tropical, sorry. And so connecting to the model simulations, they're going to be using LPJML to investigate, amongst other things, the role of environmental drivers for vegetation resilience. Sorry, the slides aren't showing very well. So Reset Lakes is a smaller project that kicked off a couple of months ago. And this is investigating lake shifts inspired by a review paper that was recently published. And they've identified some interesting lakes to investigate in the Great Lakes systems. So like looking at just complete loss of some seasonality in some lakes, and what the diverse drivers of that is. And so on the modeling side of things, they're using some quite specialized models, well, one of the things they're going to be modeling is methane emissions from lakes. So yeah, I hope that's interesting to some people, and please contact if you want to collaborate more on that. And then lastly, Time is looking at the marine ecosystem, and it's got 8 different case studies. This is quite a sort of novel area, hasn't been developed a lot in the literature. They are focusing on these case studies because of reports of changes. So for example, the Noctiluca case study in the Arabian Sea is kind of based on reports, local reports of these blooms, which are like really affecting fisheries in that area and causing quite a lot of concern. So yeah, they're going to be investigating, oh, that slide didn't even show at all. So there's going to be some work with models of primary productivity and other things that aren't on the slide. There we go. So yeah, so there's my email address. And these have just kicked off. They'll be running, like I said, for 3 years. So hopefully we can make the most of this European investment to get the most out of the science. Thanks a lot.